take a look at this painting. What do you see? For some, it might just be a group of colors that has no meaning. For others, it might have a meaning. And it could be something entirely else for yet others. That's what the world is like for different individuals. For some, it's more colorful. But for others, that color gets really hard to differentiate between black and white when there's so many colors in the mix. That's what the world is like for neurodiverse people. Imagine being told about a task to do over and over and over again, yet it slips into the back of your mind again and again. People think that you're lazy or you procrastinate, but there's a key difference, which is the intent. This would be a day in the life of a neurodiverse person. Have you ever seen a racetrack? In a racetrack, the racer at the end will have a clear disadvantage because he has been given a higher racetrack to run after in that area. And the reason why it's a fair race, though, is because he is put forward and given a head start. And just like that, we all have our own pros and our own cons in life. This narrative reflects a deep issue in our society, one to conform with societal norms and social standards. We all have a unique fingerprint, and we accept that. Our fingerprint is different, and it's used as a form of identification to differentiate one person from another. Same like that, we have different learning styles, learning methods, and learning abilities that differ from person to person, just like our own fingerprint. There are 70,316 different species of animals in our own world. We never tell a koala to act like a panda, but then why do we tell neurodiverse people to act more like normal people? We all talk about gender diversity, racial diversity, and all other flora and fauna diversity. I agree that that is important, but I also think that neurodiversity is equally as important as those diversities. Let's talk on some statistics here. According to the WHO, there are about 336 million people that suffer from ADHD worldwide, and 15% of the global population having some form of it. 1 in 44 individuals has ASD, or autism spectrum disorder, which is a lot of people if you think about it. And then there are some surveys that say this neurodiversity has an impact on the economy. Like the survey recently stated that autism costs the US economy alone just $136 billion, while ADHD sets the economy back in the ballpark of $143 billion in lost treatment and other lost economic potentials that they could have done. Now, I agree that these maybe sound like lost now, but they're compounding as their interest and investment for the future, that I comprehend this data as investment for the future to make all of these people better assets to the city, better assets for other people. Let's take the example of two different people of the ends of the spectrum here. They're A and B. A has been given all the right resources throughout his life, right, socially, economically. As a child, he was given a personalized education plan that helped him to prosper in life. He used to love studying the subject of computers, and in fact, his school would give him extra computer time if he could solve the bugs and the mainframe problems that came in the computers. This gave him valuable problem solving and coding skills that were helpful in his later life. After going from school, he goes to one of the most prestigious universities in the world and graduates, but drops midway in his course to start his own company. Later, his company becomes one of the biggest in the world. He himself is a visionary, innovator, leader, philanthropist who donated $45.5 billion to charity. He is the perfect example of what happens when you give the right investment to the neurodiverse person. While B is on the other side of the spectrum. As a child, he used to love trains. In fact, he would love them so much that he would go to the train station every single day, talk to the employees, memorize all train routes and everything there was to know about trains. The employees loved him as much because nobody had ever talked to them and seen them up as heroes. And thus, one day, when a train driver asked B if he wanted to drive a train, he was happy over happy. He drove the train and made a perfectly safe ride for all of them, all the passengers and all other people that were in the train. But later, he was arrested at the age of 15 for driving a train illegally. And for the next 40 years, he spent funneling the system, hijacking trains, buses, and other things, only for them to drive safely and for him to do a good job. He was never given the right counseling, the right purpose, or anything that could have helped him. Investment wasn't there. I can tell you for sure, had the system done something for B, he would have been able to prosper, and he would have definitely not become a criminal. Now, moving on to my own personal story. I didn't like traditional methods of learning, and that's why a lot of my teachers thought I wasn't focused, and I didn't want to do good in class. But that's not the thing. I discovered a lot of things that helped me to change my life. There were 3 major factors. That was books. Books helped me to vastly increase my knowledge base and helped me to learn a lot of things that I would never have learned in my life. Second was Legos. They might seem like small colored blocks to you, but for me, they opened a whole new world of imagination that helped me do a lot of new things that I could never have done. And third, and probably the most important, was technology. Technology gave me my purpose in life. It gave me a reason for being. It gave me my contribution to society as I made a lot of inventions that helped real-world people and solved real problems that people faced. But you see, this isn't just my problem alone. This is a problem of millions of other neurodiverse kids that face this every single day. They don't know what to do, and often nor do their teachers or their mentors who are helping them. And that's why, to elevate these students, I will introduce you to the Nurture framework. Well, you might be thinking, what does it stand for? Well, in Nurture, N stands for neurodiverse acceptance, U stands for understanding their life purpose, as you can see, R stands for respecting them as they are, as that is something they do not get in society. T stands for technologically inclusive, to help them in their goals. U stands for user-centric, based on their interest in what they like. R stands for rewards-oriented, so giving them rewards on that good thing, and then, like the traditional good cop, bad cop. And then E stands for empathetic towards them and understanding their situation. The Nurture framework has real-life applications and tangible benefits in our own education system that can help millions of students. This is an implementation that needs to be required. It'll elevate all those students you see that can't work. It'll help them accept. It'll help them be better students and achieve the potential that they have, achieve in the field that they want to be. There's various examples of neurodiverse people who have achieved amazing things and amazing feats in their chosen field, from athletes to musicians to innovators, and whatnot have we seen neurodiverse people achieve what they have. And finally, in closing, there's one thing I would like to say to you all. The neurodiversity isn't an obstacle that needs to overcome, but it's a spectrum of endless possibilities waiting to be unlocked. Let the Nurture framework be the key that unlocks this possibility. There's 3 things that you could probably take away from my talk if I wanted you to. The first is, instead of defining normality, let's embrace neurodiversity. Instead of labeling judgments, let's soak in enrichment. And instead of having the urge to fit in, let's have the courage to stand out. Collectively, let us paint a world where each of our own strokes of unique brilliance cultivate to create a masterpiece of collective judgment. Thank you.